Good afternoon, my students and listeners at home. You are welcome to Teaching Online from St. Charles College, Onitsha. My name is Helen Uyanne from Biology Department, and today's subject is Biology, with the topic Pests and Diseases. Before we go on, we shall look at our specific objectives. By the end of this lesson, you students will be able to, number 1, define pests. 2, list some examples of livestock pests and crop pests. 3, list some control measures to pests. And finally, list some side effects of pest attack. Now, let's go to the lesson proper. What is pests? Pests can be defined as organisms that can cause damage to man, livestock, and the crops. So to say that pests are enemies, mostly to farmers, because they damage the crops on the farm. And these pests can transmit a lot of diseases like fungal diseases, bacterial and viral diseases. Fungal diseases include root rot, which attack tomato, cassava, yam, wild downy, mildew, smut, rust, ustilago, fusarium, and the leaf spots. These are all fungal diseases, and there are others remaining. Then coming to bacterial diseases, we have examples as leaf spots of maize, rice, and the guinea corn. Then we equally have soft rot, wilt, blight of cotton and the cassava, and finally galls, etc. Then coming to the viral diseases, we have examples as mosaic of cassava, which can equally be of a yam, tobacco, and tomatoes. Leaf coil of cotton, mottling, stunting, lesions, chlorosis, necrosis, swollen shoots, etc. These are all some of the diseases being transmitted by these pests. These pests can be vertebrates or invertebrates. Vertebrates are animals with backbone. And we have examples of the pests that are vertebrates like rodents, birds. And when we talk about birds, it can be pigeon, it can be sparrows, and so on and so forth, which attack the grains and the cereals on the farm. Then when we talk about the invertebrate pests, they are the ones without backbones. And we have examples as aphids, grasshopper, locusts, bollworms, etc. Now, some of these pests can live on the surface of the host or inside the body of the host. When they live on the surface of the host, they are called ectoparasites. And we have examples as ticks, lice, mites, like the ticks that attack cow and even dogs. Then we have some of them that live inside the body of the host, which are the endoparasites. And these include tapeworm that lives in the intestine of man. We have liver flukes and the roundworms, etc. Now, crop pests are classified according to the part of the plant they attack. Let us look at them one by one. We have the first one, which is stem borers. Example of stem borer is caterpillar. This caterpillar bores holes in the stems of cereals. By creating holes inside the stem, they now devour the body parts of the plant, thereby leading to death of the plant. We have examples as maize and the rice. Then we have the second one, which is root, and the stem feeders. Roots and the stem feeders. As example is yam beetle. You know, we have root tubers. Example of root tuber is cassava, and we have a stem tuber, which is yam, is a yam tuber, which is yam tuber is a stem tuber. Now you have yam beetle attacking the tubers of what? Of a yam. So they eat the tubers. Now we have the third one, which are the leaf feeders. They devour the leaf of the plant. And once the leaves are attacked, you know, of course, the photosynthesis can no longer take place, and that leads to the death of a plant. We have example of such pests like snails, locusts, caterpillars, grasshoppers, and so on. Then we have the next one, which are the young shoot feeders. Young shoot feeders. As example is a mealybug or mealybugs. These young shoot feeders suck juice. When I say juice, I mean the liquids of the body of the young plants. And once they are derived of their liquids, that leads to what? Dehydration. They dry up, and that leads to death. Then we have the last one, which is a fruit and the seed feeders. Example is fruit flies, cotton stainers, beetles, weevils. They feed on the seed and the fruits of the plants. And once they are destroyed, you know, that damages the seed and renders it useless. Now we go over to the control of pests. Control of pests. That's measures to be taken to eradicate these pests, because they cause a lot of harm to man, livestock, and and crops. We have the very first one, which is a physical method. This physical method include hand picking. That just involves you picking up the pest manually, and you kill it. You pick it up with your hand, and probably you just drop it on the floor and use your feet on it. Then we have the second one, which is trapping devices. You can use trap to catch the pest, like rat. We have rats a trap, and a sticky board, and even light traps. Then we can even expose them to high temperature using steam sterilization to kill the pest. This is done by definitely exposing part of the plant to what? High temperature. That definitely will kill the pest residing at that particular part of the body of the plant. Then we go back to the second method, which is a cultural method. This cultural method simply involves change in the environment of the pest, or change in the way crops are grown to reduce that attack of the pest. Example of this include crop rotation, involving in crop rotation, or involving in maize cropping. The third one, which is chemical method. This involves spraying or dusting chemicals on the crops. Example of the chemical can be pesticides, insecticides like DDT, gamalin, or clovia, etc. There are so many of them. Then we have the fourth one, which is biological method. This biological method involves introduction of natural enemies like predators, using predators against the prey. For example, ladybirds feed on aphids, or using fingerlings. Fingerlings are small fishes, and the tadpoles against what? Mosquito larvae. Once the fingerlings feed on mosquito larvae, they are no longer there to metamorphosize into adult mosquito to start biting people. Then we equally have another example like using cats against rats. In a room where you have your bags of beans, you can keep cats there, then no rat will ever venture to come out to feed upon the seeds. So that's biological method, using predators against the prey. Then we have the next one, which are making the male pests sterile. What is the meaning of making them sterile? Making them infertile. And by making them infertile, they will not be able to fertilize the eggs of the female, and that can lead to the extinction of the pest. Then we have the next one, proper drying of crops. When you dry the crops very well, they will be free from any liquid, and the pests will find it difficult to thrive upon, talk less transmitting any disease condition. Then we have the seventh one, which is destroying all disease plant materials on the farm. Once you discover that any plant is infected, you simply burn it or you destroy it so that it will not infect any other good plants. Then the next one, growing resistant variety of plants. We have some plants that are resistant to diseases. You go for those kinds of plants. Then we have the next one, planting only healthy plants. You discard the sick ones, the diseased ones, and you go for only the healthy ones to have your healthy farm. Then next one, legislation or prohibition against the movement of crops between countries. Definitely, maybe a crop that may be imported from outside country may be infested with one disease or with one pest that can cause disease condition or the other. There will be a legislation or prohibition by the government against that kind of importation. Or even if they are imported, we have what is called quarantine, which is the very last point. These crops will be quarantined, and that means keeping them in isolated and insulated place for some period of time to watch and see if they are infected. So with this, we can control pest attack. Now we come to the disadvantages of pest attacks. Since the enemy is to man, livestock, and the crops, you can see that they reduce the market value of crops. If you have your vegetables attacked by pests, when you take them to the market, nobody will look at you and that crop. So the money you spent in planting it is waste. That has reduced the market value. Then we have the next one. It causes retarded growth in plants. Retardation means that the plant can no longer grow to its normal size. It will be hindered, the growth is hindered. Then we have the very last one, which include bringing about disease condition on plants. The pest brings about disease condition on plants and animals. Disease condition on plants, like you have the mosaic of cassava, you have the necrosis, and so on. Then in animals, you have Newcastle diseases, you have coccidiosis, and the others. When you take those animals that are in disease condition to market, nobody likes taking something that is not good. So you say that pests and its diseases are not good to man, livestock, and their crops. Good evening, we have come to the end of this lesson. I want to use these questions to evaluate you. Number 1, what is pests? 2, list 5 methods of pest control. 3, what are the disadvantages of pest attacks? You supply your answers through my WhatsApp contact, and the number is 080 55 40 8293. I call it again, 080 55 408 293. Thank you for listening. Bye, and see you next time.